welcome to BL Hub. If you're a lover of boys' love stories or you do kick your legs while watching two men kissing, then you are at the right place. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share before we dive into this story. Thank you.
My fiancé threw me out of his car, unaware his Enigma enemy was watching everything. The door slammed shut before I could even catch my balance. I stumbled onto the gravel shoulder of the dark highway, the cold night air slapping my face as Marcus's taillights disappeared around the bend. My phone, wallet, keys, everything was still in the passenger seat. He'd taken it all in his rage. "Stay out of my life, Liam," he'd screamed minutes earlier, veins bulging in his neck. "I'm done with your jealousy, your paranoia. You're suffocating me." I'd only asked why he'd been texting someone named E at 2 a.m. again. Apparently that was enough to warrant dumping me, literally, 20 miles outside the city on a deserted stretch of road at midnight. I stood there in my thin jacket, shivering, staring at the empty road. No cars. No streetlights. Just the distant hum of wind through pine trees and the faint scent of rain coming. Great. Perfect end to the worst engagement ever. I started walking along the shoulder, shoes crunching on gravel, trying to figure out how I'd get home. Hitchhike? Call a rideshare? If I could borrow a phone from someone? There was nothing out here. That's when I heard it, the low purr of an engine behind me. Not Marcus coming back, his car was a loud SUV. This was smoother, sleeker. Headlights swept over me, slow and deliberate. A black sedan crawled to a stop beside me. The window rolled down with a soft whir. The man behind the wheel was stunning in a way that felt dangerous. Sharp cheekbones, pale skin glowing under the dashboard lights, dark hair swept back. Eyes like polished obsidian. He wore a charcoal suit that looked expensive enough to pay my rent for a year. "Need a ride?" His voice was low, velvet over steel. I hesitated. Stranger danger and all that. But I was stranded, freezing, and he looked harmless? No, that wasn't the right word. He looked like the kind of trouble you walked toward willingly. Yeah. If it's not too much trouble. He tilted his head, studying me with an intensity that made my pulse jump. "Get in." I opened the door and slid into the warm leather seat. The car smelled like cedar and something spicy. Expensive. "I'm Liam," I said, buckling up. "I know." I froze. "No." He pulled back onto the road smoothly, one hand on the wheel, the other resting on the gear shift. "Marcus threw you out." Quite the dramatic exit. My stomach dropped. "How do you?" I was watching. He glanced at me, lips curving into a faint, predatory smile. "I watch him often." I slid down my spine. "Who are you?" "Call me Kai." He accelerated, the car eating up the dark road. "And Marcus has owed me something for a very long time." "Owed you what?" "His pride. His control. His everything." Kai's fingers tightened almost imperceptibly on the wheel. Tonight he handed me the perfect leverage. "Me?" I laughed, but it came out shaky. "I'm not leverage." "He just dumped me." "Exactly." Kai's eyes flicked to me again, something hungry flashing in them. "You're no longer his. That makes you available." My mouth went dry. Available for what? He didn't answer right away. Instead, he took an exit I didn't recognize, turning onto a narrower road flanked by dense forest. "Relax, Liam. I'm not going to hurt you." His tone softened, almost soothing. "In fact, I'm going to keep you very safe. Marcus has enemies far worse than me, but none as interested in him as I am." I swallowed hard. "Why are you interested in him?" Kai's smile sharpened. "Because he took something from me. Someone. Years ago. And I've waited patiently for the right moment to take it back." The car slowed as we approached a gated driveway. The gates swung open automatically, revealing a modern mansion set deep in the woods, glass walls, sharp angles, lit dramatically from below. My heart hammered. "This is your house?" "Home for now." He parked in front of the entrance. "You'll stay here tonight?" "I can just get a ride home." "No?" The word was gentle but final. He turned off the engine and faced me fully. "Marcus will come looking for you when he calms down. He always does." And when he does, I'll be ready. I stared at him. You're using me as bait. I'm protecting you while settling a debt. He reached over, brushing a strand of hair from my forehead with surprising tenderness. His touch was warm, electric, and perhaps enjoying the irony. My breath caught. Up close, he was even more beautiful, dangerously so. The kind of face that made you forget common sense. What did Marcus take from you? I asked quietly. Kai's expression darkened. My fiancé. The word hung heavy between us. I laughed nervously. You're joking. I'm not. He opened his door. Come inside. It's cold. I should have run. Should have demanded he take me home. But something in his eyes, the raw pain beneath the cold control, kept me rooted. Against every rational instinct, I got out and followed him into the house. The interior was all sleek lines and warm lighting. He shrugged off his suit jacket, revealing a fitted black shirt that clung to broad shoulders and a narrow waist. He moved like someone who owned every inch of space he occupied. Wine? He asked, pouring 2 glasses without waiting. I took one with shaking hands. So Marcus, stole your fiancé? Seduced him. Convinced him I was the villain. Took him away the night before our wedding. Kai sipped his wine, watching me over the rim. I've spent 5 years rebuilding what Marcus destroyed. Now it's his turn to lose something precious. Me, I said flatly. You, Kai confirmed. Though I suspect you're far more precious than he deserves. Heat crept up my neck. You don't even know me. I know enough. He stepped closer, crowding my space without touching me. I know you've been with him 3 years. I know he cheats. I know you pretend not to notice because you love him. I know tonight was the first time you pushed back. My throat tightened. How? I told you. I watch him. His voice dropped. And lately I've been watching you. The air between us crackled. I should have been terrified. Instead, my body responded in ways it absolutely shouldn't, pulse racing, skin tingling. What do you want from me? I whispered. For now, your company. He brushed his thumb along my jaw, light as a feather. Tomorrow we'll see. My phone buzzed in my pocket. No, wait. My phone was in Marcus's car. Kai pulled a sleek black device from his pocket and handed it to me. My phone. How? I have my ways. The screen lit up with missed calls and texts from Marcus. Where are you? Liam, answer me. I'm sorry, baby, please. I'm coming back. Kai watched me read them, expression unreadable. He'll be here within the hour, he said softly. Shall we give him a show? My heart slammed against my ribs. This was insane. Dangerous. Reckless. But as Kai leaned in, lips brushing my ear, whispering, Trust me, Liam. Just for tonight, I realized something terrifying. I wanted to. The doorbell rang exactly 43 minutes later. Kai didn't flinch. He simply set his wine glass down, checked the security feed on a slim tablet, and smiled like a cat who'd cornered the canary. He's early, he murmured. Eager. Marcus's face filled the screen, red-eyed, hair messy, pounding the intercom button with his fist. Liam, I know you're in there. Open this damn gate. My stomach twisted. Part of me wanted to run out and beg him to take me home. The bigger part, the one still stinging from being shoved onto gravel, stayed rooted beside Kai. Kai turned to me, eyes gleaming. Ready for the show? What exactly is the show? My voice came out steadier than I felt. He stepped close, cupped my chin, and tilted my face up. You decide how far it goes. But if you want him to feel even a fraction of what I felt 5 years ago, you'll let me touch you when he can see. My pulse thundered in my ears. Touch me how? His thumb traced my lower lip. Like this. He leaned in, breath warm against my mouth. And more if you say yes. I should have said no. Should have grabbed my phone and called a cab. Instead, I heard myself whisper, yes. Kai's smile was slow, lethal. He took my hand and led me to the massive floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the driveway. With one tap on his phone, the exterior floodlights blazed on, illuminating Marcus's SUV parked at the gate. Another tap, and the intercom crackled to life inside the house. Marcus's voice boomed through the speakers. Liam. Baby, I'm sorry. I lost my temper. I didn't mean it. Please come out. Kai pressed me gently against the glass, my back to his chest. His hands settled on my hips, firm, possessive. He didn't move further, waiting for my signal. I nodded once. He slid one hand up under my shirt, palm flat against my stomach. The touch burned. I gasped softly, fogging the window. Marcus's head snapped up at the movement. Even from this distance, I saw his eyes widen. Liam. His voice cracked over the speaker. Who the hell is that? Kai leaned down, lips brushing my neck. Tell him, he whispered. I swallowed. It's none of your business anymore, Marcus. You threw me out, remember? Marcus slammed his palm against the gate. Open up. I need to talk to you. Kai's hand moved higher, thumb grazing just under my ribs. Every nerve ending lit up. I arched into him without thinking. Marcus went still. What the fuck are you doing? What does it look like? I said, surprised at how cold my voice sounded. Moving on. Kai rewarded me with a soft kiss below my ear. His other hand slid to my waistband, fingers hooking just inside. Teasing, not crossing the line. Marcus's face twisted. That's Kai Voss, isn't it? You picked up my ex and brought him here? Liam, he's dangerous. I laughed, sharp, bitter. You're the one who dumped me on the side of the road at midnight. Kai's grip tightened. Tell him to leave, he murmured against my skin. Leave, Marcus, I said. We're done. Marcus roared something incoherent and kicked the gate. Then he pulled out his phone, probably calling me again. My device buzzed in Kai's pocket. Kai plucked it out, answered on speaker, and held it up. Liam, listen to me, Marcus pleaded. He's using you to get to me. 5 years ago I know what happened 5 years ago. I cut in. He told me. Silence. Then Marcus's voice dropped, venomous. You believe him? He's a liar. The stalker. Kai ended the call with a flick of his thumb. He tossed the phone onto the sofa and turned me to face him. You okay? His eyes searched mine, surprisingly gentle. I wasn't. My legs were shaking. Adrenaline and anger and something hotter coursed through me. I'm fine, I lied. He brushed my cheek. You don't have to be. Then he kissed me. Not soft. Not tentative. A claiming kiss, deep, hungry, like he'd been starving for years and I was the first meal. I clutched his shirt, kissing back just as hard. All the hurt Marcus had piled on me poured out into that kiss, and Kai drank it down. When we broke apart, both breathing hard, he rested his forehead against mine. He'll be back, Kai said quietly. With reinforcements, probably. He doesn't lose gracefully. Let him come. Kai's eyes darkened with approval. Brave boy. He led me upstairs to a guest room. Minimalist, huge bed, another wall of glass overlooking the forest. He didn't push for more, just handed me soft sleep clothes from a drawer like he'd prepared for this. I'll be down the hall, he said at the door. If you need anything. I caught his wrist. Stay. He searched my face. You're sure? I wasn't sure of anything except that I didn't want to be alone with my thoughts tonight. Stay. He closed the door behind him. We didn't have sex. Not yet. But we kissed again, slower this time, exploring. His hands mapped my body like he was memorizing it. I did the same, tracing the hard lines of muscle under his shirt, the faint scars I found along his ribs. When we finally lay down, he pulled me against his chest, arm locked around me like he'd never let go. I fell asleep to the steady thump of his heartbeat and the distant sound of Marcus's SUV finally driving away. Morning light woke me. Kai was already up, standing at the window in black sweatpants, coffee in hand, staring out at the trees. Sleep okay? He asked without turning. Better than I should have. I sat up, sheets pooling around my waist. What happens now? He turned, expression unreadable. Now Marcus escalates. He'll dig into my businesses, call in favors, maybe send people to watch the house. And us. Kai crossed the room, set his coffee down, and climbed back onto the bed, straddling my hips without putting weight on me. Us, he said, brushing my hair back. Depends on you. I want you, Liam. Not just to hurt him. I've wanted you for months, watching you smile at his shitty jokes, watching you dim yourself to keep him happy. I want the version of you that pushed back last night. My throat tightened. You don't know me. I know you're kind, loyal to a fault. Funny when you're not scared of being too loud. I know you sketch designs in the margins of your notebooks when you think no one's looking. I know you hum off-key in the shower. I stared at him. You really have been watching. Too much, he admitted. But not enough. He leaned down and kissed me again, soft, morning slow. I wrapped my arms around his neck and pulled him closer. My phone buzzed on the nightstand. Marcus again. Kai broke the kiss, glanced at the screen and smirked. Round 2 already. He answered, put it on speaker. Liam, Marcus said, voice tight. We need to talk. Alone. I'm coming over at noon. Kai spoke before I could. You're not welcome here, Marcus. Dead silence. Then, put Liam on. He's busy, Kai said pleasantly. Very busy. I took the phone. Don't come here, Marcus. It's over. You don't mean that. You're angry. I get it. But he's manipulating. Goodbye. I hung up. Kai took the phone, powered it off, and tossed it into a drawer. Good boy, he murmured, kissing down my neck. Now, where were we? Heat pooled low in my belly. I tugged at his waistband. Right about here. He laughed, low, surprised, genuine, and let me pull him down. Outside, tires crunched on gravel. Another car arriving. Kai tensed, then relaxed. Security. Expected. But when the doorbell rang 20 minutes later, while we were still tangled in sheets, breathless and laughing, a voice came over the intercom that made Kai go rigid. Kai Voss, a man called. Open the gate. We have a warrant. Kai's face went cold. Marcus works fast, he said quietly. My heart sank. What do we do? He kissed my forehead once, hard. We get dressed. And we fight. The knock came again. 3 sharp, official raps that echoed through the marble foyer like gunshots. Kai was already moving. He pulled on a black dress shirt, buttoning it with calm precision while I scrambled into yesterday's clothes. My heart jackhammered against my ribs. Warrant. I hissed, following him down the stairs. For what? Something Marcus fabricated, Kai said, voice low and even. He has friends in the prosecutor's office. Creative friends. He tapped his phone. The front door camera feed popped up on a wall screen. 2 uniformed officers, 1 plainclothes detective holding up a document, and, standing just behind them, arms crossed, Marcus. Smirking. My blood boiled. Kai glanced at me. Stay out of sight unless I call you. Whatever happens, don't admit to anything. Don't sign anything. I nodded, throat dry. He opened the door just wide enough to block the threshold with his body. Morning, gentlemen, Kai said, polite as poison. May I see the warrant? The detective, a stocky man with a buzz cut, handed it over. Kai scanned it quickly, lips thinning. Search for controlled substances, he read aloud. Based on an anonymous tip. How convenient. Marcus stepped forward. We can do this the easy way, Kai. Let us in. Kai didn't budge. You can enter. Your ex-fiancé cannot. He's not law enforcement. The detective shrugged. He's the complainant. He stays outside. Marcus's jaw clenched, but he backed off the porch. Kai stepped aside. The officers filed in, polite but thorough. They moved through the living room, kitchen, upstairs hall. I stayed in the study as instructed, watching on the security feed Kai had mirrored to a laptop. 10 minutes in, one officer opened a drawer in the guest room nightstand. He pulled out a small plastic bag with white powder. My stomach dropped. Kai's face on camera went perfectly blank. That's not mine, he said calmly. And it wasn't there last night. The detective bagged it. We'll test it, Mr. Voss. In the meantime, you'll need to come with us for questioning. Marcus was back on the porch now, grinning openly. Kai looked straight into the nearest camera, like he knew I was watching, and gave the tiniest shake of his head. Don't panic. They cuffed him. Gentle, professional clicks. He didn't resist. As they led him out, Marcus leaned in close. Told you he was dangerous, Liam, he called loudly. You're lucky we got here in time. I couldn't stay hidden anymore. I stormed into the foyer. Get off this property, I snapped at Marcus. He blinked, surprised to see me so furious. Baby, come on. I did this for you. He's a drug dealer. You're not safe here. I laughed, cold and loud. You planted that, Marcus. We both know it. The detective glanced between us, frowning. Sir, if you have information. I have information, I cut in. My ex-fiancé assaulted me last night. Threw me out of a moving vehicle on a dark highway. Then stalked me here. That's why I'm on this property. Kai picked me up and gave me shelter. Marcus went pale. The officers exchanged looks. Assault? The detective asked. Physical? Emotional? Years of it. I pulled up my sleeve, showing the fresh bruises on my arm from where Marcus had gripped me during the fight. I have texts too. Threats. Cheating. All of it. Marcus sputtered. He's lying. He's just. Shut up, the detective told him. Then to me, we'll need a statement. Gladly, I said. They uncuffed Kai. The powder tested positive for cocaine in the field kit, but the chain of custody was already compromised. Marcus had been on scene, and the warrant was thin. Kai's lawyer arrived 20 minutes later, sharp-suited and terrifying. By noon, the search was called off, evidence sealed pending real lab tests, and Marcus was escorted off the property with a warning. Kai watched the patrol cars leave from the front steps, hands in his pockets. I joined him. You okay? He exhaled slowly. I will be. Marcus just burned his last favor with that office. He's desperate. Desperate men are dangerous, I said. So are cornered ones. He turned to me, eyes intense. Thank you. For speaking up. I wasn't going to let him frame you. He cupped my face, thumb stroking my cheek. You didn't have to risk that. Yes, I did. I leaned into his touch. You protected me last night. Turnabout. His smile was small. Stay another night. Please. I didn't even pretend to think about it. Yes. The rest of the day passed in a strange, charged calm. Kai worked in his office. Phone calls, emails, quietly dismantling whatever leverage Marcus thought he had. I wandered the house, found the gym, showered, borrowed more of his clothes. By evening he cooked. Actually cooked, seared scallops, risotto, a bottle of white wine he opened with practiced ease. We ate at the kitchen island, knees brushing. Tell me something true, he said suddenly. Something you never told Marcus. I swirled my wine. I hate my job. Graphic design for a firm that only does toothpaste ads. I want to freelance, do book covers, album art. Real art. But Marcus said it was too risky. Kai's eyes darkened. He dimmed you. Yeah. I met his gaze. Your turn. Something true. He set his fork down. I haven't let anyone touch me in 5 years. Not since he took Elias. The name of his ex-fiancée hung between us. I reached for his hand. I'm sorry. Don't be. He laced our fingers. Last night, this morning, it felt like waking up. My chest tightened. I leaned across the island and kissed him, slow, deliberate. He tasted like wine and salt and promise. We didn't make it to the bedroom. He lifted me onto the counter, hands sliding under my shirt, mouth hot on my neck. I wrapped my legs around his waist, tugging at his buttons. Clothes hit the floor in a frantic trail, kitchen to hallway to the plush rug in front of the fireplace. He was careful, reverent, but hungry. Every touch asked permission, every gasp I gave was answered with more. When he finally pressed inside me, slow and deep, I buried my face in his shoulder to muffle the sound. We moved together like we'd been waiting years, not hours. When I came, it was with his name on my lips and his arms locked around me like he'd never let go. After, we lay tangled on the rug, fire crackling low. I'm keeping you, he murmured into my hair. I laughed softly. You don't get to decide that alone. No, he agreed, kissing my temple. But I'm going to work very hard to earn it. My phone, now charged and back in my possession, buzzed on the counter. Marcus. Finn. Kai reached for it but I stopped him. Let me. I answered on speaker. Liam, Marcus said, voice ragged. I fucked up. I know. But you have to come home. We can fix this. No, I said clearly. We can't. I'm done fixing you. Silence. Then, you're choosing him? After one day? I'm choosing me, I said. For the first time in years. And right now, me wants to be exactly where I am. I hung up. Kai pulled me back down against his chest. Good boy, he whispered. Outside, the wind picked up, rattling the glass walls. Inside, for the first time in forever, I felt safe. But the night wasn't over. At 2 a.m., the security alarm chirped once, silent mode, motion detected at the rear gate. Kai was up instantly, pulling on pants. I followed. The camera showed a figure in black, cutting the fence with bolt cutters. Not Marcus. Someone else. Kai's face went grim. Stay inside, he said, grabbing a handgun from a hidden safe. Like hell, I shot back. He looked at me, assessed, then handed me a second, smaller pistol. You know how to use this? Point and pull. Got it. He almost smiled. Stay behind me. We moved through the dark house toward the back door. Whoever Marcus had sent next was already on the grounds. And they weren't here to talk. The intruder moved like a shadow, fast, silent, professional. Kai and I crouched behind the kitchen island, guns drawn, watching the rear camera feeds on his phone. The figure in black slipped through the cut fence, hood up, face masked. No visible weapons yet, but the way they scanned the grounds screamed training. Not Marcus, Kai whispered. He hires amateurs when he's angry. This one's too clean. Then who? Kai's jaw tightened. Someone I owe money to. Or someone Marcus owes more. The intruder circled toward the back patio doors. Kai tapped his phone, silent lockdown. Steel shutters began descending over every window with a low mechanical hum. Too late. A soft click at the glass door. Lockpicked. The intruder stepped inside. Kai motioned me to stay low. He slipped around the island, barefoot and silent, disappearing into the hallway. I gripped the pistol tighter, heart slamming. Seconds stretched into eternity. A muffled thud. Grunt. Crash. I peeked around the corner. Kai had the intruder pinned face down on the marble floor, knee in their back, arm wrenched high. The mask was half off, revealing a woman, mid-30s, sharp features, short dark hair. Tuck, Kai growled. Who sent you? She spat blood onto the floor. Fuck you, Voss. He twisted her arm harder. She hissed. Liam, Kai called without looking. Zip ties in the drawer by the fridge. I grabbed them, hurried over. Together we secured her wrists and ankles. Kai yanked off the rest of the mask. Recognition flickered in his eyes. Reyes. You're working for Marco now? She smirked. Marco says hello. Says you missed last month's payment. Kai's face went stone cold. I paid. Half, she corrected. He wants the rest. Plus interest. He sent me to remind you. I looked between them. Who's Marco? Kai didn't answer right away. He hauled Reyes up and dumped her into a dining chair, tying her more securely. Old business partner, he said finally. Lent me capital to rebuild after Marcus torched my company 5 years ago. I've been paying him back. Slowly. Reyes laughed. Slowly isn't good enough anymore. He knows you're distracted. New boy toy. She nodded at me. Pretty. Expensive taste. I felt heat rush to my face, anger, not embarrassment. Kai stepped close to her, voice deadly soft. You broke into my house. Threaten my guest. Tell Marco he'll get his money. All of it. By end of week. Or what? Or I stop being polite. She studied him, then shrugged. I'll deliver the message. But next time, it won't be me. It'll be 3 guys with guns. And they won't knock. Kai cut her ankle ties but left her wrists bound. He marched her to the back door, shoved her out into the night. Fence is live now, he called after her. Touch it and fry. She flipped him off and vanished into the trees. He locked the door, reactivated full security, then leaned against the wall, exhaling hard. I set the gun down carefully. How much do you owe? 2 million. My knees went weak. Jesus. He rubbed his face. I have it. Liquidating assets takes time. Marco's impatient because he heard Marcus is gunning for me. Figures I'm vulnerable. I crossed to him, touched his arm. Are we? He looked down at me, eyes fierce. Not if I can help it. He pulled me into him, holding tight like I was the only solid thing left. I wrapped my arms around his waist, breathing him in. We need a plan, I said against his chest. We need sleep, he countered. Tomorrow I move money. You stay inside. Armed. I pull back. No. I'm not hiding while you fix this alone. Liam. I'm in this now, Kai. Whether you like it or not. Something shifted in his expression. Surprise, then warmth. Stubborn, he murmured, kissing my forehead. Fine. Tomorrow we fix it together. We went back to bed, but neither of us slept much. We lay tangled, talking in low voices, about Marco, about Marcus, about the mess we'd stumbled into. At dawn, Kai was on his laptop, transferring funds, selling stocks. I made coffee, eggs, watched him work with that focused intensity that made my stomach flip. By 10 a.m., he'd wired the full amount plus interest to Marco's account. Confirmation came 20 minutes later, a single text from an unknown number. Paid in full. Pleasure doing business. Kai deleted it, closed the laptop. One problem down, he said. But his phone rang immediately, Marcus. He put it on speaker. You think paying off Marco makes you safe? Marcus snarled. I know people too, Kai. Worse people. Kai's voice was ice. Threaten me again, and I'll bury you. You stole what's mine. I didn't steal anything. You threw him away. I leaned in. He's not yours anymore, Marcus. Let it go. Marcus laughed, unhinged. Oh, I'm letting go. Starting with your pretty house, Kai. Check your gate camera. Kai's eyes snapped to the security feed. A delivery van sat at the front gate. Driver gone. Package on the ground. Too big for mail. Kai zoomed in. Red wires visible through the cardboard seams. Bomb, he said quietly. My blood froze. He grabbed my hand. Basement. Now. We ran. The basement was a reinforced safe room. Steel door, ventilation, supplies. He shoved me inside, punched in the code. Stay here. Door locks from inside too. No, I grabbed his shirt. You're not going out there alone. I have to disarm it or we lose everything. Then we lose it together. He stared at me, torn. Then he kissed me, hard, desperate. Fine. But you do exactly what I say. We geared up, gloves, tools from his safe. He had bomb training, apparently. Old life stuff he didn't elaborate on. We approached the package carefully. Kai knelt, examined it. Amateur, he muttered. Timer. Sloppy wiring. He worked fast, clipping, rerouting. Sweat beaded on his forehead. I stood watch, gun ready, scanning for movement. 10 minutes. 20. 50. Diffused. He sat back on his heels, breathing hard. I dropped beside him, pulling him into a hug. It's over, I whispered. He shook his head against my shoulder. Not yet. Marcus crossed a line. This ends today. He called his contacts, lawyers, private security, a detective who owed him. By afternoon, Marcus was arrested. Evidence from the planted drugs, the bomb, my assault report, all tied together with traffic cams showing his car near the gate drop-off. Handcuffs. Booking photo. Bail denied. Kai watched the news on mute, arm around me on the couch. I leaned into him. He's gone. For now, Kai said. But he'll be out eventually. Reduced charges, good lawyer. I turned to face him. Then we'll be ready. He cupped my face. We. Yeah, we. I kissed him softly. I'm not going anywhere. His eyes searched mine. Even after all this? Especially after all this. He pulled me into his lap, kissing me deeper, hands sliding under my shirt. We didn't make it upstairs this time either. Later, showered and dressed, we stood on the patio watching the sun set over the trees. What now? I asked. Now, he said, lacing our fingers, we start over. Properly. No exes. No debts. Just us. I smiled. I liked the sound of that. His phone buzzed, one last text from Marcus's number, probably sent before arrest. You'll regret this. Kai showed me, then blocked it. Let him try, he said. We went inside, locked the doors, and didn't look back. But peace never lasts long in stories like ours. That night, as we slept, another alert chimed. Not the gate. The front door camera. Someone standing there. Not Marcus. Not Reyes. A man I'd never seen, tall, blonde, beautiful. Holding a bouquet of white roses. He looked straight into the camera and smiled. Kai, he said clearly. It's Elias. I'm home. Kai jolted awake beside me, face draining of color. His ex-fiancé. The one Marcus stole. Back from the dead, or wherever he'd been for 5 years. And knocking on our door. The voice on the intercom sliced through the dark like a blade. Kai. It's Elias. I'm home. Kai went rigid beside me, every muscle locking at once. The color drained from his face so fast I thought he might pass out. He stared at the security screen as if it were a ghost manifesting in high definition. Elias stood on the front porch under the floodlights, tall, golden-haired, unfairly beautiful even after 5 years. He wore a long camel coat, white roses clutched in one hand, and that same gentle smile I'd seen in the single-framed photo Kai kept face down in a drawer upstairs. The photo he'd never let me linger on. Kai didn't move. Didn't breathe. I reached for his hand. It was ice cold. Kai. He flinched like I'd struck him. Don't. The single word cracked across the room. Not angry, shattered. On screen, Elias tilted his head, still smiling at the camera. I know you're watching. I'm not leaving until we talk. Kai finally exhaled, ragged. He pressed a button to mute the intercom, then leaned his forehead against the cool wall, eyes closed. He's supposed to be in Europe, he whispered. With Marcus. Apparently not anymore. My voice sounded steadier than I felt. Jealousy, sharp and unexpected, twisted in my gut. You going to let him in? Kai's laugh was hollow. I don't know what I'm going to do. He straightened, ran both hands through his hair, then hit the intercom button. Leave the flowers. Go home, Elias. Elias's smile faltered. I don't have a home anymore. Bucks. You've seen the news, I assume. Kai's jaw clenched. That doesn't make this my doorstep. It makes it the only one I have left. Elias's voice softened, almost pleading. 5 minutes, Kai. For old times. Kai looked at me, really looked, like he was searching for permission or absolution. I hated how much it hurt. Your house, I said quietly. Your call. He held my gaze a second longer, then pressed the gate release. Elias stepped inside the moment the front door unlocked. He moved like he still remembered every inch of the place. Coat draped over the entry bench, roses placed carefully on the console table. Exact spot they used to go, I realized. Up close, he was even more striking. Early 30s, refined bone structure, pale blue eyes that flicked to me with polite curiosity, then back to Kai with raw longing. You look good, Elias said softly. Tired but good. Kai didn't return the compliment. Why are you here? Straight to it, then. Elias sighed. Marcus and I ended months ago. Badly. Just spiraling. The arrests today were the final straw. I've been staying in hotels, trying to figure out my next move. Then I saw the news about the bomb, about Liam. His gaze slid to me again. And I knew I had to come. Kai folded his arms. You left with him. You chose him. I was young and stupid and angry, Elias said. You shut me out after the company collapsed. Marcus was there with open arms and pretty lies. I believed him when he said you'd never forgive me for doubting you. Kai's voice was razor sharp. You didn't doubt me. You betrayed me. The night before our wedding. Elias flinched. I know. I've regretted it every day since. Silence stretched, thick and suffocating. I cleared my throat. I'll give you 2 space. No, Kai said quickly. Too quickly. He reached for my wrist, grip tight. Stay. Elias's eyes tracked the movement, something flickering across his face. Surprise, maybe hurt. So it's true, he murmured. You and Marcus's ex. His name is Liam, Kai snapped. And he's not Marcus's anything anymore. Elias nodded slowly. I'm glad you're happy. Are you? Kai asked, low and dangerous. Elias met his stare. I'm glad you're not alone. I never wanted that for you. Kai's grip on my wrist loosened, but he didn't let go. What do you want, Elias? He asked again. The place to stay. Temporarily. Until I sort out my accounts. Marcus froze everything joint. I have nowhere safe. His associates are unhappy with how things ended. Kai laughed bitterly. You want to hide here? After everything. I want to make amends, Elias said quietly. If you'll let me. I felt Kai wavering. Old love doesn't die clean, it lingers in the bones. I pulled my wrist free gently. It's late. Everyone's exhausted. Maybe sleep on it. Kai looked at me, grateful and wrecked. Elias inclined his head. There's a guest room downstairs? You know there is, Kai said. Elias picked up his small overnight bag, I hadn't noticed it before, and headed toward the hall. At the doorway he paused. For what it's worth, he said without turning, I never stopped loving you. I just stopped believing I deserved you. Then he was gone. Kai stood frozen until we heard the guest room door close softly. He turned to me, eyes glassy. I'm sorry. For what? For him showing up. For still, he stopped, throat working. For still feeling something? I finished. You loved him for years. That doesn't vanish. He searched my face. Does it bother you? Yes, I admitted. But not because I think you'll choose him. Because I hate seeing you hurt. He pulled me into him, burying his face in my neck. I don't want him here. Then tell him to leave tomorrow. I will. His arms tightened. Stay with me tonight. Please. We went to his bedroom, the one we'd shared the last 2 nights, and undressed in silence. He held me under the covers, spooning me close, but his body was tense, thoughts miles away. I turned in his arms. Talk to me. He traced my jaw with trembling fingers. I thought I'd buried it all. Then he says 3 sentences and it's like I'm 29 again, watching him walk out the door with Marcus. I kissed his palm. You're not that man anymore. And he's not the same either. No, Kai whispered. But part of me wants to punish him. Part of me wants to forgive him. And the worst part, his voice cracked, is I feel guilty for wanting you more than either of those things. My heart stuttered. You do. Liam. He cupped my face. I've known you 3 days. 3 days. And I already can't imagine waking up without you. That terrifies me. I kissed him, slow, deliberate, pouring everything I couldn't say into it. He kissed back like a drowning man, hands clutching me closer. We made love quietly, desperately. Not like before, this was reassurance, anchoring. Every touch said stay, every breath said mine. After, he fell asleep with his head on my chest, fingers laced with mine. I lay awake, listening to his breathing even out. At 3:17 a.m., I heard the soft creak of floorboards in the hall. Then a whisper outside the bedroom door, Elias's voice, barely audible. Kai. No answer. A long pause. I left the roses in water, he said to the closed door. They were always your favorite. Another pause. I'm sorry. For everything. Footsteps retreated. I stared at the ceiling, jealousy and empathy warring in my chest. Morning came gray and rainy. Kai was already up, dressed in black, making coffee when I came downstairs. Elias sat at the island, hair damp from a shower, looking fragile in borrowed clothes. They both looked up when I entered. Morning, I said, aiming for neutral. Elias offered a small smile. There's coffee. Kai handed me a mug without a word, then turned to Elias. You can stay 1 week, he said flatly. You sleep downstairs. You don't enter my bedroom. You don't touch Liam. You help with whatever I need. Cooking, errands, security feeds. Then you find your own place. Elias nodded. Thank you. Don't thank me, Kai said. This isn't forgiveness. It's practicality. Elias's eyes flicked to me. Understood, The day passed in strained domesticity. Elias cooked breakfast, perfect omelets, like he'd done it 1,000 times before. Kai worked in his office. I sketched on my tablet, trying to ignore the way Elias's gaze lingered on Kai whenever he thought no one noticed. Evening brought a knock at the gate. Security feed. A young woman, mid-20s, nervous. She held up an envelope. For Elias Voss? Elias went pale. Kai let her in. She handed the envelope to Elias with shaking hands. Marcus said to deliver this personally. Said you'd know what it means. Elias opened it. Inside, a single photograph. Him and Marcus, recent, kissing in a club. On the back, in Marcus's handwriting. You think Kai will keep you once he sees this? Come home or I send it to the press. Along with the videos. Elias crumpled it, face ashen. Kai took the photo, studied it, expression unreadable. He's bluffing, Elias whispered. Mostly. Kai looked at him for a long moment. Then he tore the photo in half. And again. Until it was confetti. He has nothing, Kai said. And even if he did, you're not going back. Elias's eyes filled. Why are you helping me? Kai glanced at me. Because someone taught me, he said quietly, that love isn't about keeping score. My chest tightened. Elias swallowed hard. I'll delete everything on my end. Burn bridges. Do it, Kai said. That night, Elias slept in the guest room again. Kai and I made love, quieter this time, mindful of the house guest. After, he whispered against my skin, 1 week. Then he goes. I nodded. But 2 days later, Marcus made bail. And the real war began. Marcus made bail on a Tuesday morning, and by Tuesday night the messages started. Not texts. Those were too easy to trace. Hand-delivered notes. Slipped under the gate, tucked under windshield wipers. One even folded into the morning newspaper box. All in Marcus's elegant, looping handwriting. You can't keep both of them. Choose or I choose for you. Time's running out. Kai burned everyone in the fireplace without letting Elias or me read them. But we saw his face each time, tighter, darker. By day 4, the house felt like a pressure cooker. Elias kept to the guest wing, cooking silent meals and disappearing into long calls with lawyers, liquidating what assets Marcus hadn't frozen. I worked on freelance pitches from Kai's office, stealing glances at him while he stared at security feeds like they might reveal Marcus's next move. We barely touched each other anymore. Not in front of Elias. Not even alone. The air was too thick with waiting. On the 6th night, Kai found me in the kitchen at 2 a.m., nursing a glass of water. He's going to do something tomorrow, Kai said without preamble. It's the anniversary. Of what? The day Elias left with him. His voice was flat. Marcus always loved symbolism. I set the glass down. Then we don't wait for it. We end this. He looked at me exhausted. How? I took his hand. We give him what he wants. A choice. Public. Controlled. On our terms. Kai's eyes narrowed. You want to meet him? I want to finish him. He searched my face for a long moment, then nodded once. The next morning, Kai sent the message through a mutual acquaintance Marcus still trusted. Neutral ground. Downtown rooftop bar. 8 p.m. All 3 of us. Come alone or don't come at all. Marcus replied within minutes. I'll be there. The rooftop was sleek, glass railings, string lights, city skyline glittering below. We arrived early. Kai in a charcoal suit that made him look lethal. Elias in quiet navy, hands clasped tight. Me in black, heart hammering. Marcus was already waiting at a corner table, drink in hand, smiling like he owned the night. He stood when he saw us. Look at this. The whole broken family. Sit, Kai said coldly. Marcus sat. His eyes flicked between the 3 of us, lingering on Elias. Miss me? Elias didn't answer. I took the seat across from Marcus. This ends tonight. Marcus raised an eyebrow. Bold, Liam. You were always the quiet one. Not anymore. He leaned forward. So what's the proposal? You give me Elias back. Kai takes you. We all pretend the last 5 years didn't happen? No, Kai said. You walk away. Permanently. No more notes. No more threats. No more games. Marcus laughed. And why would I do that? Because, Elias spoke for the first time, voice steady, I have the videos. Marcus froze. Elias slid a USB drive across the table. Every time you hit me. Every time you threaten me. Every time you forced me to stay when I wanted to leave. High definition. Date stamped. Cloud backup already sent to my lawyer with instructions to release if anything happens to any of us. Marcus stared at the drive like it was poison. I never sent them to the press, Elias continued quietly. I didn't want to destroy you. But I will now. Unless you sign the agreement Kai's lawyer drafted. Kai placed a folder beside the drive. Inside, a restraining order, a cease and desist, and a non-disclosure agreement that bound Marcus from ever mentioning any of us again. Marcus's face twisted. You'd ruin me over him? He jerked his chin at Kai. No, Elias said. I'm ruining you because you ruined us. All of us. Marcus looked at me. And you? Happy to play house in my leftovers. I leaned in. I was never yours, Marcus. You just liked owning me. Kai doesn't own me. He chooses me. Every day. There's a difference. Marcus's hand twitched toward his pocket. Kai's voice cut like steel. Don't. There are 3 cameras on this table alone. Private security downstairs. You so much as raise your voice and you're back in a cell by morning. Marcus's chest rose and fell fast. He stared at the USB drive. At the folder. At Elias's steady gaze. Finally, he picked up the pen Kai slid across the table. He signed. Every page. When he finished, he stood abruptly, chair scraping. You'll regret this, he said, but his voice cracked. No, Kai replied. We won't. Marcus left without another word. The elevator doors closed on his defeated silhouette. We stayed on the rooftop until the city quieted below us. Elias exhaled shakily. It's really over. Kai nodded. You okay? Elias gave a small, sad smile. Getting there. He turned to me. Take care of him. I intend to, I said. Elias hugged Kai, brief, tight, final. Then he hugged me too, surprising us both. Thank you, he whispered, for giving him what I couldn't. He left that night. A car waited to take him to a new apartment across the city, new name, new start. We watched the taillights disappear. Kai and I stayed on the rooftop a little longer. He pulled me into his lap on one of the lounge chairs, arms locked around me. I was scared, he admitted against my neck, that you'd see him with Elias and doubt us. I never doubted, I said. I just hated watching you bleed for old wounds. He kissed my temple. They're closed now. We went home. The house felt different, lighter. We left the guest room door open, windows cracked to let in the night air. In bed, Kai undressed me slowly, reverently, like he was seeing me for the first time again. I love you, he said, the words raw and certain. I don't know how it happened this fast, but I do. I kissed him, deep and sure. I love you too. Fast or slow, doesn't matter. It's real. We made love without hurry, no desperation, no ghosts. Just us. Skin to skin, breath to breath, building something new on ground we'd cleared together. After, he traced lazy patterns on my back. What now? I asked, echoing that first night. Now, he said, smiling against my shoulder, we live. No exes. No enemies. Just this. I laughed softly. Think we can manage boring for a while? I'll try, he murmured. But with you, I doubt it'll ever be boring. Outside, the forest was quiet. No alarms. No shadows at the gate. Inside, we slept tangled together, hearts beating in the same steady rhythm. Marcus never contacted us again. The restraining order held. The videos stayed buried. Elias sent a postcard 6 months later from Portugal. Simple, unsigned. Just a photo of the ocean and the words, "Thank you for the second chance." We framed it in the hallway. And life moved forward. I quit the toothpaste job. Started freelancing. Kai sold the last of his old company shares and invested in a new venture. Something ethical, something his. We traveled. argued about paint colors for the bedroom, adopted a dog that chewed half the sofa. We fought sometimes, sharp words, slammed doors, but we always came back to bed and fixed it with hands and mouths and whispered apologies. Years later, people would ask how we met. I'd smile and say, "He picked me up on the side of the road." Kai would add, "Best decision I ever made." And we'd leave it at that. Because the rest, the drama, the danger, the ghosts, was just the storm that pushed us together. What mattered was what came after. Always us. Thank you for watching, everyone. I also want to hear your thoughts about this story, and as you do so, don't forget to subscribe, like and share for more amazing BL stories.